Then she privatized her account. And then she goes in the story and saying, oh, well, all these bots that Natalia is sending her. It never even occurs to her that other people, other fans, other competitors, human beings, not machines, might happen to disagree with her. That apparently doesn't even cross her mind to show how insecure she is. So it just boggles my mind that someone who's a top competitor in the game acts like this. I
I
mean,
have
to
to
me,
agree.
that's just ridiculous. I mean, she's gotten raked over the coals for it on
Yeah.
social media.
I mean,
So
and it was, and if you look at it, I don't know how many, I'm sure George follows a ton of these other sites as well, but a lot of, Sean Ray put out something, Dusty Henshaw put out something, calling Sarah out, and all the people, coming on and, obviously to Natalia's defense as well. But I mean, we've had several male bodybuilders, well known male bodybuilders, calling Sarah out. And a couple of Sarah's fans on there, obviously backing Sarah up too. But I mean, we have several men out there that were like, Sarah, this is not bots. We are human
right.
beings, that don't agree with the way you're behaving, So, um, like I told
Yeah.
George,
And
I
she
have
posted
some,
this. She posted this. This is like
yeah.
pull up here is he says studying my competition, especially belts, where it was and also this he also put out just recently, where she says this. If you read it, follow it. And she says this. He says, "Thank you for all my people for all the DMs, messages, and calls of support. Just know that I really appreciate, love you guys. We are working, never stopped." Here's the thing: is you should have said that first instead of doing this. You could have just said, "Hey, I took a loss, and I'm just gonna come back better." That was so a good example where of a good champion, or a former champion. But then you did this, and no
Or
one
even
really
coming
respects.
out and saying, hey, I lost. I have my opinion on why I may have lost, you know, and leaving it at that. She did not have to get dirty. I'm sorry. That's dirty. It's catty. It's not classy. It's uncalled for. And I have several other words that are not appropriate.
Yeah,
So,
I got a couple here from man Raheem. He says this. He says, "Sarah's natural." That's a suspect.
so am I.
Also, he also is a man from man where says Raheem. Apparently, she's on peds as well, as it seems hypocritical for her to make that post when it's she's doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and also Raheem says, "Okay, cool." Also, my man Raheem says this. He says, "The outcome is the other women's won. Sarah didn't. Sarah can pop jump, but at the end of the day, Sarah lost." Well, here's the man who made that comment. My man Raheem Hamilton. And yeah, son, you made it seem to the crime, huh?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Hello.
Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
congratulations. Nice. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm good.
What?
Glad to be on
What?
the
You hear,
show.
can you all hear me better? I don't know what was going on earlier. There was a lot of stag. I did hear you guys, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what was going on. It took me a while to get back on.
That's all
It's
right.
not
That's all right.
staticky now, Alex. You sound
Yeah, we
good.
hear ya.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So
sir. I don't know
Raheem,
what that
you're
was all
here.
about. This isn't the
So
first time
Raheem,
this
you're
ever
here.
happened.
Okay. Raheem, you're here. So what's your thoughts, son?
Well, my thoughts about this is this. Competition is a good thing. Rivalry is a good thing, but it's a different way to handle and do it. Um, First of all, like I said in this early in the comment, rivalry is good for all sports because as right now, sports in general is just boring. NFL boring, really no rivalry. Basketball no rivalry because everybody want to be friends and play with each other. Um, with bodybuilding, if you want to bring it out, you want to have that competition. When I say competition, is like basically say Well, when we on stage, I'm not your friend. That's what it is. Like we could be with competitors. Like Michael Jordan. Michael said, when I'm on the court, we're not friends. Off the court, we're cool. But there's a professional way to do a rivalry. What what that young lady did, that's not professional in any way. You lose, you lose. You know what I mean? Granted, you won last year and the year before. I guess you was 4 times. So you lost this time. You go, okay, okay, you got that. I'll see you next year. I go back to the lab. Do what I have to do and everything. But putting accusations out there or putting things that's if it's personal, question someone's credentials and everything, that's petty. That's what it is. It's pettiness. When you question an individual's academics and you're not there, you don't know this person and everything. So
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
you should never do that. But at the end of the day, I guess this lady Sarah doesn't understand the difference between being a rival and being catty. It's more like she's more still in high school and not an adult. So that's why I say with this situation.
Yeah.
Mhm. So we got here, my man KL the Wonder. He's popped in.
Hey,
He's more of a
Hey,
fan
good
of
to
the
see
sport.
you.
hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
How you doing?
Hey, Kayla.
hey, yeah,
Right.
and he doesn't have you paid attention to much what's going on because I know you're more about the women of muscle than you know about the sport.
I just seen like some clips with what's her name? With what's her name again? True Missy Truscott and Padilla girl.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that one
Yeah,
holistic
yeah.
because it was when they were at the press conference pre the Olympia. That's the one I think that was really I think some people saw it because some say it was not in good taste for Missy. And here it is. I was looking for this because this is another example of was it good taste or not.
The confidence thing, she's exuding it, I think. But I don't think it's authentic. When did you get busted for editing your photos? Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
See that she should have been there, Missy. No offense, I'm a fan of Missy, but she should have been there. It should have been Lola in the place because Lola was number three in the world for the last couple of years, and she should have set it out. But this is the thing is, it was the IFB and the Olympia that set that up. Because why not? Why are you not pushing the woman who is like number three in the world? I understand Missy being a former fitness champion, but it should have been fair that Lola should have been there.
I love Lola.
Oh, she's a
Yeah.
sweetheart. I actually met her
I
back in 2023. She was doing a photo shoot. I was waiting for my ride home. That expo. She was walking by. I was like, "Oh, congratulations!" And afterwards she came back to me. We talked. We did a photo together. She's definitely a sweetheart.
yeah, she is. I, sh- she would be a great Miss Figaro. I'm still surprised she isn't. You know, I, I,
Yeah,
I think she looked amazing this year.
actually I posted a thing. I posted shared some people said if Lola does not win, I'm going to boycott the Olympia. She saw it, and we were talking back and forth, and she's pretty good in spirits about this. She
She's,
understands.
you know what? She's got class too. She takes it and she just comes better every year. And I'm still really shocked because I think there's been a couple years that, as much as I love Sid Gillian, I think she's been a great representation for Figure Bissau. Um, there's been times that I thought Lola just looked tighter and nicer than Sid, and I thought for sure with Sid retiring that this was going to be Lola's year, and I don't know. I think she's gorgeous, and I think she's got a lot of class. So hopefully her time's coming very fast now.
We have here a comment from Randy Dean. Randy is also an amateur competitor herself. He says, "Hey George, I was a huge fan, Sarah fan, DIL, and I'm so disgusted and disappointed with her. Our sport should be one iron sisterhood. Natalia is the true role model. Just really disrespectful." We have here from a man Brad Baldy. He says, this year's Olympia was interesting. Lola definitely deserved the hire. I think she,
Yes.
yeah, I think she does. I think we really Gale, and it was like a lot of people, like a lot of the bodybuilding, social media types were really shooting at either Jessica. The thing is, Jessica's
I
been
love
over.
Jessica though too. But I think Lola brought it this year, and I was disappointed that she didn't win.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We have here a
We're
man, Josh Simpkins, coming through. It says,
Hey, what's
hello, Josh.
good? How's it
Hey,
going?
Josh.
What's
The
what's going
women's
on?
empire. Empire.
How's it going, Alex?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's just the thing about this, like Raheem says, rivalry is good, but how far is too far? When you talk about
rivalry
somebody,
is definitely good. It pushes you, but like he said, and like we said earlier, she's attacking her academics too. I mean, what does her academics and her degrees and have to do with bodybuilding? I mean, I know she said
right.
she shortcutted,
Mm-hmm.
she supposedly shortcutted her degree. How do you shortcut a degree in a 4.0 GPA?
And a
You know,
medical degree on top of it.
What
exactly. So,
the?
May
you
may
know,
may I cut it? I want to say this. I want to say this. I don't think this is the problem with. Well, I'm just going to say some of these athletes' ages are young. I guess Sarah and them was born in the '90s. That's what I want to take it, right?
yeah,
So as they're coming up as young adults and as adults in the 2010s and the 2020s, God, they don't know what rivalry is. They never witnessed like we witnessed what rivalry is in the '90s or some of us in the '70s and then in the '80s and '70s. That this generation of her peers of athletes, they're thinking rivalry is like a diss track or something like that, or disrespect. They don't know the concept of rivalry. So in her mindset, what she's saying and doing is considered a rivalry, but in reality, it's not. So that's why I have to go with that. I just go with
no,
her
That
generation
is
and everything. They
that
they
is
never
an
they never witnessed
interesting.
it because they see LeBron
well,
James,
because
everybody
yeah,
joining teams and being friends and stuff like that, and they never witnessed like, okay, we could be cool backstage, but when we on the court or when we on the stage, we're not friends. And there was still a mutual respect at the end of whoever won, but they don't understand, can't comprehend that today.
You want a good example of a classy professional rivalry in bodybuilding? Angela Yao versus Andrea Shaw.
yes,
I mean,
right on.
the two of
Mm-hmm.
them, when they had the press conference with each other, I mean, that's exactly what Angie did. She kept it classy. She kept it professional. She said, "Yeah, you're one of the very best, but make no mistake, I'm here to win.
Yep.
I'm here to
I,
beat
I
you."
I know
And
both
there's
Angie.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know both Angie and Drea very well, and they're both high class women.
But again,
And
they wasn't born in the '90s. That's the
no,
thing. You're just what you gotta understand.
Yeah.
They experienced what rivalry is because I guess they were both born in the '80s, so they were
yeah,
teenagers of the '90s, so they seen what rivalry is, regardless if it's whatever sports. They know what rivalry is. Again,
Hey,
we're talking
Raheem.
about other individuals who were born '93, '96, and their recollection of rivalry is what they see now. You know what I'm saying? Because they were kids in the 2000s and became adults in 2010, so they don't know what a rivalry is. That's the difference.
Well,
I can't.
also,
You,
sorry,
I'm
go
glad
ahead.
I was born in the '70s.
I guess I'm an exception to that rule because I was
But
born in
Yeah.
'93.
Yeah. I'm glad
understand.
I'm glad I'm an '80s baby. So.
I'm a '70s baby. I'll take it. And
I seen Muhammad Ali. He
yeah,
went at Joe Frazier and other boxers, and they was going at it. I don't see the difference. I get what you're saying in a certain aspect, but I don't see it that different like how it was like in the 70s.
The difference is this. I'm gonna tell you the difference is. The difference is this. The same thing in rap. When you the every rivalry, what you don't talk about no one's personal stuff. You don't talk about your mother. You don't talk about anybody's personal stuff or anything, right? That's what you don't do. Muhammad Ali, he never when he went against Joe Frazier, he just got into his head. When he went against George Foreman, he was just getting his head. He only talked about them, never took it
that's
outside, never told say, "Oh, George Foreman, you so dumb." you try to put Eminem's alphabetical order. He never said that. He never tried to get on the
Well,
academics. There's a
he did kind of
huge
mimic
difference.
certain things for Joe Frazier a little bit. He had like a doll and stuff like that, and poking fun at him. I mean, it's
Also, got
different. It's different. Like it's different in a way. Like they like it. I think it's some similarities, but there's differences also. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, it's
I
always
think
going to be because you go back to when Ali was fighting, Sonny Liston, and he one thing because Sonny Liston was from prison, he got out of prison. He said, you know what, you want to mess with a man from prison, you act crazy because he be afraid of you. Him and Sonny Liston, they weren't really friendly terms, but he respected the man, but he still went at him, with try to get in his head because he wanted to win. Strategy is it's like any strategy. You want to psych out your opponent, whatever you can get, but then some Raheem said, some of these new generation who grew up in the '90s, grew up with social media. You look
yep.
at the rappers. Even like Kumo B and LL Cool J, they had a rivalry. I used to remember that rivalry
Hmm.
because LL was young coming up, Cool was in college, he was coming up, and they kept it really big respectful. Even though if you go like one of Kumo B's albums, there's a Kango under his Jeep.
Another
Comment.
I'm
Yeah. Shout out to my man uh, uh, Brad Brown Baldy. He says they got
Right.
to treat it like pro wrestling, in my humble opinion. Play for the crowd, for entertainment, but behind closed doors, remain cool with each other. That's also expected. Also,
Yeah,
he
okay.
says this. He says, Andrea and Angela Yo definitely bring out the best in each other, but seeing Ashley Jones take the second spot right behind Shaw was absolutely cinema. Yeah, because
Talk to him. Tell me about that. What cinema?
yeah, I mean that was a surprise. I felt like I think with Angela, she was just a little off. Because even I remember the year when she won when she got second, when she beat Andrea at Rising
Rising
last year.
Yeah,
Phoenix.
Rising
Yep.
Yeah,
Phoenix last year. Yeah.
but when somebody told me whenever Andrea's off, and you know this, Lynn, and both of you, Abby, when Andrea's off, when she comes back, she's on.
Oh,
Hmm.
she's on times 100. So
Well,
you
folks, I have another guest here, the lovely Mrs. Monica Johnson. She's also a bodybuilder herself, an
Oh,
amateur.
nice
She's
to
been
meet you,
a guest.
Monica.
How's it
Hi, everyone.
going?
Good. How are you? Sorry
Hey,
I'm late.
Yeah.
now you're all right, you're good. So, like Monica also has stories to tell, but particularly about a certain person. And it's not so
Yeah.
much about bodybuilder, but sometimes just about his bodybuilder equated, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
You want to share?
about the talking down about him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my ears connected here.
Give you a moment. We got here
I
a
can hear.
comment
I can
here.
hear you.
Yeah,
You
I'm having
got hear us. We got a comment here. Give us a second. We got a comment right here. I got it from my man here. Emmanuel says another major
yeah.
difference between generations when it
Hey,
comes to rivalry is the aspect of social media. Social media can amplify and exacerbate rivalries into something that doesn't need to be as as well.
That's
But
actually a good
back
point.
to
Yeah, that's actually a good
Ooh,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes more sense when you really think about it. Yeah.
yeah. Do you
well
remember what?
that
You
use
remember
that
what
big
happened?
word exacerbate.
Do you remember what happened with Whitney Jones
yeah.
when she called out Missy Trescott? The woman got death
oh,
threats online
Ooh.
oh,
because she
with
had
her
because
shark.
she had the audacity
Yep.
to do that. And then yeah, it was like for crying out loud. A rivalry is not a bad thing. It's just if you take it across a particular line. But also a big difference between the rivalries in the past is if you're going to talk shit, you better get ready to take shit from other
Hmm.
people. And that's something Sarah has not done. First of all, she said that
Well, she
everybody
turned
who did
off her social media for a
exactly,
negative
Well, she
comment
set up social
exactly,
media on
because she
private.
couldn't handle
exactly.
it. She
That's
couldn't
the
She
point.
handle
threw
the
the
sass.
she
That's the
threw the
point.
grenade and ran.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, she couldn't
And
handle the
then
fact
she's
that people were actually on Natalia's side, so she turned
quote
all the
unquote
people into
bots.
bots.
right,
You
exactly.
know, we're not
And it's
bots. You acted inappropriate. It's
bingo.
BS. Grow up. Take the shit that's going to
Right,
be given to
exactly.
you. No
Right.
one threatened you, but they gave you shit.
If you're
You
gonna
don't
do
get to
stuff
call
like
someone
that,
out and then turn your shit off because you don't like what they're saying.
oh, but they're
Take your
not saying,
post down.
but they're not saying it. It's the bots who are saying it, and the bots are all coming from Natalia. It can't be from any people. None at all.
And that's why I lost even more respect because she turned it off. She could not handle it.
Right.
I,
Bingo.
you know, I would have if she would have left it on and took the shit. I would have gave her more respect back. Like, okay, she's gonna take her shit and
Well, she
everything, but she
also
did it.
she also had she also did some thinking about it because she said this is not a typo.
Yeah,
Not a
This is
typo,
not a
huh?
exactly.
Y'all
typo.
saw that.
Meaning
Yeah,
you know what you're putting down. You're not just ranting and saying this is bullshit. Blah 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 blah. There,
yep.
like when we vent and we go oops. But no, that's like premeditated. You know what you're saying
Oh,
because you're
she went off stage and was thinking about it right away. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
yeah
Yeah, I think
very
y'all
I mean,
disrespectful.
she didn't even allow
I think
Natalia the the day to enjoy her title. She had to ruin it with this drama. And she could have been a little. You know what? She lost her class by posting what she did, but she lost it more because she didn't allow Natalia to live in her glory for at least 48 hours. She had to call it out right away.
But to show
And
I
the
mean, the very next day, she was like, "Oh man."
yeah, exactly.
But
24
right,
hours
but what are you
later,
calling out? You're making an assumption. What are you calling out? You throw something out there with absolutely no proof,
bingo.
yeah,
and then
You got it.
that's your keyboard warriors where you're out
yep,
there stabbing at shit, and then you block everybody,
yep,
or you delete your account. You yeah
And
I
what is
yeah
Natalia's been response to this? Nothing.
nothing,
Nothing.
nothing,
nothing.
Nothing at
flat,
She's
all.
out there living her
flat.
best
She's
life,
ahead.
enjoying her
She's
win,
and she's
winning
done that,
competition after competition. Did
and
she
she's
win
done
yesterday? Yes, she did.
She
yeah,
should have won last year, anyways. Just my
yeah.
opinion. Natalia should have won last year too.
She's not
So
wasted any time on this. She's
no,
just gone on and she just won another
She's
show
won the last show.
at the
Yeah,
Yep,
Mexican Pro.
yesterday
the Hurricane
yes.
at
Pro.
the Mexico Pro.
Right.
Well, then
So
why didn't Sarah go and compete there and then see who
Right.
won?
There you go.
Then we could have had the best.
yeah,
Okay, let's put two
exactly,
out of three
Monica.
now.
I totally agree. Why she was so if she wanted to try to redeem herself, why didn't she go and
Sure.
jump into that show?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why she doing Mexico Pro?
Yeah, you know
yeah, that's pretty bad.
that thing with
it
Sarah,
is.
you
It's
rarely ever see her. This is why one thing I'm not a big fan of Natalia is when you are doing multiple shows and these are Olympic qualifiers. I know you want to be active. I understand that, but then you're coming in here and you was in 2022 and 2023. You were the current Miss Physique champion. You come in here, and okay, some ladies who talk to me saying they're not a fan of hers. They don't like the fact she's coming in here. This is one lady was kind of like she's close to getting Olympic qualification, but then here comes, she came in best shape, but it's about being competitive. But then you coming in, you already have numbers stacked in your favor, and then you do a show like this. This is just a new show, and you thinking, okay, it's a new show. Somebody like who wanted the opportunity to say, let me try this show. You coming in just pretty much about a week after the Olympia, and coming in, and then boom. I know ladies are respectful, but there are some back in the head say, why this bitch is here? I mean, God damn. They probably, and there are some ladies that they're not a big fan of it. Some have said that she's not approachable in some cases. Sometimes she's cool with some people, other times she's not. She can it can be hot and cold depending on how she's feeling. But understand you want to be active competitive, but then someone like Sarah, who's doing stuff like putting up money for shows like she did for Pittsburgh a couple years ago, like she put money for the Texas Pro. She's doing
Mhm.
stuff that maybe set up for the future. I know Natalia last year, she was promoting Marines of Zeke for Triple O Dynasty, and also she was promoting a show in Brazil. but she's not doing Triple O this year. She dropped out of that, didn't have a sponsor, so they lost that division at that show. And I think the show come out in Brazil, that's where her family's from. I just as a study get this: when you are at the top, why do you need to go into the trenches and fight with the other soldiers? Unless
Well,
Okay.
you got to remember the women aren't making the kind of money the men are.
Nope.
So they're doing the shows to offset some income. So I mean, I get what you're saying. She's qualified. But at the same set, got freaking Derek Lunsford wins 600,000. Drea wins 50. Drea looks better than Derek. By
That's
far.
all up on man. All on them.
You know, I mean, these women have no choice but to do shows, to pay for shows. So until there's more sponsors and more money, which according to some people, I got called a couple bad names the other day because I said that women don't make enough money and we should stay in our hole, is what I was told. But the women have no choice. They have to
Well,
win the shows
the
to
thing
pay for
about
shows.
the thing about again, it all boils down to marketing. You
Yeah.
have to market your sport. It's not. Let me. I just want to say it like this. It's not a sex thing. You have to look at it like, okay, who is the who is the top athlete in your division who can be like, okay, I am a marketable person. I can go out there to all the social medias, the mainstream media to put this sport on the map. Because you got to remember, Hulk Hogan put wrestling on the map in the 80s. Prior
Hmm.
to that, wrestling was just this little sideshow in small rural America. You got to get the athlete, that female athlete that says, okay, I am the face of this division of female bodybuilding. I'm going to embrace it all, go out there, do all the interviews, hit every platform I can to bring up this sport. That's the key thing because once you get more eyes onto the sport, more people coming into the sport, then revenue goes up. And guess what goes up? The pay goes up, unless you still got judges or promoters who are cheap. But that's it. And to be honest with you, $50,000, $5,000. I know to you as females that sounds small, but to any everyday person, male or female, if they can get that prize money that Andrew Shaw got, they be like, yeah, hell yeah.
And
So
Well,
it,
and I
and
get what
Yeah,
you're
like
I get what you're saying, but the
it
thing
has to be
is,
that way.
and it just gets old hearing the men are what brings.
The man ain't even
bring more
making
revenue, bring more
Yeah.
eyeballs.
okay, no. Let me tell you something. I have to, Lynn. I'm going to explain something to you right now. When you ask an average person out there about who's the current Miss Olympia, no one knows. Maybe in your little circle, y'all know. No one knows. You know what they're going to say? Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has been Miss Olympia in 45 years. That's the craziest thing. The average person out in America will say Arnold Schwarzenegger. They will never say Dorian Yates. They'll never say Ronnie
No.
Coleman. They will never say that. So even the men ain't making as much money as it is. It's the sport is just all around
Yeah,
screwed up. It's screwed up
yeah,
all around. Marketing wise,
yeah.
it's screwed up. Like for instance, where could anybody watch your the Olympia coverage? Now, this is your Super Bowl. What station? What channels? What streaming sites can anybody watch it on?
Well, I agree
Olympia
with
TV, but
yeah,
yeah,
Olympia
I'm
Where,
TV.
I
where,
was at
where you
work.
find that?
Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
You can find Pop TV faster. You can find Olympia TV, and Pop TV is like what channel 1065. So this is a sport that has to grow. One of your ladies and one of the males have to take the baton and say, I got to represent this bodybuilding thing, regardless of how negative people feel about me. Because let me tell you something right now. Regardless if you're an athlete or actor, you're going to hear negative people say negative things. You're going to hear people say positive things. It's just that you have to have the skin for it and say, hey, I'm going out there to represent this sport. That means I have to do a movie with Tyler Perry, a DC film, or a Marvel film. Sign me up. I'm ready so people recognize my face. And then guess what? Your sport will be respected. If not, then it's going to be this controversy in this dark that is still in. And the
Yep.
prize money is going to still
Yeah,
what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to respectively disagree with that, because the marketing argument in the day and age of the internet doesn't fly anymore. When you had just print magazines, when you just had the muscle mags, then your argument would, I would say, hold water. But today, the very thing that all of us are utilizing right now, the internet, has changed all that. You want to find out anything at all on anything, from women's bodybuilding to women's pro wrestling to women's pro basketball. All you have to do is go to a search engine and type in those words, and you'll immediately be taken to all the information you could possibly ask for on those subjects.
But to pick,
And the thing
but
is, most people don't go to those because they're just not interested. Most people don't know about bodybuilding because, sorry, 99% of the world doesn't care about it.
Again, I
They
agree with you
just
True.
saying.
don't.
I agree with you saying, but you got. Let me say, you got to be. I got to be honest. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. You're going to have, regardless if it's a male or a female bodybuilder who has the charisma and charismatic. That's what you got to have to do. It is the same way. Like you said, yes, of course, you can search engine. You can find anything on any search engine these days. But the fact is, you got to have that person, that female bodybuilder. People say, "Who is that?" Oh, I like her personality. Wow, she's very interested. You know what I'm saying? And when they start seeing her more, not just on Instagram, but on all platform, even old media, because guess what? Truth be told, even legacy media is still around. People still watch that. If you see her on those things, guess what's going to happen? People are going to come to her. Hulk Hogan hosted Saturday Night Live. The next day, they did WrestleMania in New York. That was a good marketing thing. That's what I'm trying to say. This is what you got to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
this is the key. The key is you want the ladies. You want the money. I want you to get the money. God bless it. The more sponsors do you have to bring in the sponsors, because the sponsors you have right now, unfortunately, they don't have enough to give y'all. But you have to bring in new sponsorships. Hey, maybe one day you will get that Nike sponsors. Maybe you'll get the Adidas sponsors. Because right now, Adidas is they lost their sponsorship from the NBA, NHL, NFL. Maybe they play. Oh wow, this is a great bodybuilder. This guy's cool.
There
Or
you
maybe
go.
it's female. They got charisma. Let's sign her up. You don't know. You gotta try. Leap of faith, ladies. Leap of faith.
Yep. And it's said that these local news stations are doing a better job promoting women's bodybuilding than the mainstream media.
That's
That's what I've
true.
been.
That's very, very true. You're right about that.
I know a while back. I
Absolutely right
think
about that.
I remember a couple of news stations were interviewing people like Natalia, Sarah Piami. Also did thing with Linda Murray, and to go back to what was Lynn talked about earlier, how people act when y'all they say something like, remember when Linda Murray was talking about how the Arnold was getting making like was putting up 750,000 dollars for the men's open division. And then she talked about it, and people talk about when you talk about this man's pocket, yeah, 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 but it's not all his money. Some of it's from other people. He's just a front man
Mm-hmm.
because he does have, but like I said, his movies he still gets royalties from his movies, but he hadn't been active for a long time. But he's still the Arnold, the Schwarzenegger, the Arnold, the Puma, you know, it's just and we talk about again about how it's not fair that women don't get as much, but we as I say off like this, the men's division, as I always say, is the bottom bitch. The pimping game. It's the one that brings the money, brings the
Well, and then
attention.
you start acting like a bitch, like
Right.
they're not going to take us serious. Just my opinion again. I know I should not have said that, but
What
I did.
here's
That's all
another
right.
question.
That's why you have open conversation. Sometimes,
Yeah,
sometimes it sounds you can speak your mind because some biting your tongue hurts.
yeah.
We have your comment from a man, Brown Baldy. He says this. He says another major difference between generations
That
is. Well, I
you
think I've
already
already said that. Oh yeah, sorry, I
yeah,
said that.
you
Yeah.
already
Oh
did that.
yeah.
You already did that comment.
Yeah, it says,
Yeah.
when you look at building back in the day, these guys competed with each other, but they also trained together too because they treated bodybuilding as a fraternity, like Frank Colombo and
Well, yeah, Arnold
Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Schwarzenegger, all those guys.
Yeah,
But we have some
like
girls like that. Abby and I have trained together. You know, um, I've trained. With lots of people. Christine Ware. So
It's like
you
that with
know,
the women. You see
yeah. So
Lavinia Barros and Amanda Machado train together, and
Well, they just
all the
had
great.
that. They just had that Olympia battle with Andrea
Yeah.
Shaw, Ashley Jones,
yeah,
Natalia Kovaleva, and Angie Yao. They're all training together. And that was
Hmm.
what Andrea Shaw even pointed out. He said, "Yeah, we're competitors, but we're also a sorority.
yeah.
We're also a group."
I mean,
So
I'd like to. I wish I had more people to train with. I train with my husband.
Yeah, me too.
uh, you know, so he doesn't yell at me like I'd like to get yelled at, but I have to usually fly down to Tampa to get yelled at a couple times.
maybe it's been covered already, but what about Jessica's comments? Jessica Reyes Padilla's comments, because Missy is responding
Oh
in that
yeah.
clip. She was
Yeah, she
She
responding
did
to
not take
Jessica's
that
comment that
lightly.
in which she said, "Oh, I just see this as a guest posing." That she
Well,
sees
well,
her
somebody,
didn't she
Olympia
make
appearance as a guest posing. Is that
well,
it does sounded like it was just no big deal to her. So
well,
do you think that's confidence, or do you think you would put that on the same would
but
you put
didn't
on a
she make
level of
another comment?
arrogance?
Didn't she make another comment before that? I saw them on some kind of talk show, and she called out Jessica on something. She said, "Well, weren't you taking a side about your posing or something?" And
edited pictures. We showed that
apparently,
earlier.
Oh yeah,
and
what they
everyone was
do
like,
with editing your
"Oh,
pictures,
wow!"
Yeah, editing.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody was
Here,
just like, "Oh."
so
but
that was
here,
like the first thing, and then everyone started getting catty.
yeah. But here's the thing: how somebody explained to me, it's just something to help with a mindset. She said, but thing is, you've been doing this for a long time. You've been to Olympia more than just about 10 times, and you've been in the top three the last 3 years. That can because I'm like I said, I'm not a big fan of Jessica Whitney. I think she has a great physique, but personally, I feel like you need to sit back. I mean, she just did a show in Mexico, which is second to a girl who was eighth at the Olympia, and that
yeah.
tells you, yeah, that tells you that she really should, because she could have done, she done last year was Hurricane Pro, where she won. She could have done the Florida and Hurricane Pro and won that show. She was chasing after being both Master Olympia and Olympia champion, and then she falls down to third. And that tells you something that maybe either you can step your game up, or you realize, you know what, my time has passed. Let me move on because I know she's touching about 50. And it's getting harder when you get these young girls coming in like, what? I know both you and Monica, y'all both are ladies of maturity, but these young girls coming in, they're like people like Paula Ranta, we feel like I would say like this.
I'm a '70s baby. Remember that.
Same
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Same
We
here.
still, we see wet behind the ears and breast smell like Similac. Just on
Breast.
the titty.
You talk about Clubber Lang? You talk
Yeah.
about Clubber Lang for Rocky?
Come on.
Yeah.
Bang! So yeah, like we got here a comment from my man Brown Baldy. He says this. Shout out to him. He says, "Seeing Sharonka place in top five is
Sharonica.
awesome.
Yes, agreed.
Sharonica.
Agreed.
Yes.
Atlanta Pro earlier this year was amazing. I mean, I think Sharonica, she fits to me the criteria. I met Sharonica. I mean, she is just as beautiful as she is on screen as
She is the
person. I mean,
sweetest person in the world. She's my posing coach.
Like you
So
said, my man, she fits the criteria.
yeah. So I love her. She's
Oh, yeah.
awesome. She's humble.
Good,
And
good,
she
good.
she talked me
Yeah.
up. She helped me through the hardest prep I had this year. You know, so I'll be working with her again for my next season, and so
Another one
yeah,
is Dr. Autumn Swanson.
yes,
She placed second to Natalia at the
yeah,
Hmm.
Mexico show, and
Yep, she
yeah,
played second.
she's got a classic WPD look as well. So I'm
yeah.
glad to see there are women like that have that classic look that are getting high placings or still
yeah.
getting
And it makes me
top
feel
placing.
better as a smaller physique woman. So like I think Natalia, as much as I love her, she's getting big. Like and George, we talked about it the last time. Like I mean, she's got some wheels on her and some lats.
Yeah, she
So
does.
Hmm.
Like this is like
so
this picture was a while back. Was this? You had Natalia, you got Ashley, and you have
Ashley, yeah,
Lavinia. And you can see how this was like when Ashley competed in physique back in 2020. Two, this is when actually the right time when Natalia competed at the Atlantic Coast. This is was Lavinia at the when she won the Romanian Muscle Fest. These women are evolving. We have here a
Yep.
new
Hmm.
lady who's been here guest a couple of times on my channel, the lovely Mrs. Randy Dean.
Hey
Randy
George,
Dean, how's it going?
Hey.
it's going okay. I wrenched my back at the gym today,
Ooh,
so
Oh,
ouch.
sorry.
Ooh, ouch.
5 weeks out to Masters USA, and I wrenched my back. So we're trying to recover.
Yeah, take your time, But Randy, what's your thoughts on it? Because you follow some of the sport, listen to we talk about stuff like that on the side too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just overall disgusted. I think it's really bad. I think that just in general, we get a lot of a bad rap in our sport. There's a lot of stereotypes, and for Sarah to like pull this shit, it just was such bad sportsmanship.
It really is.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
bad sportsmanship. I'm a Dana Lynn fan. So I think Jeremy was talking about having someone, getting somebody back into the sport. We need like a Dana Lynn back again. Like that's what physique was all about. And I totally agree with you, Lynn. Like I look at some of these girls and they're just getting bigger and bigger. And I really felt like I was a Sarah fan. I wasn't necessarily a Sarah fan because of her personality. I liked her physique, but I also liked the things that she did, like putting up the money so that women's physique and women's bodybuilding could like compete again, and that we had like a voice and we had a place. But it's just disgusting. It's just I don't know.
But money doesn't. Money should like. I get what you're saying too. And I think that's what Sarah uses. Like Sarah's got money. We all know it.
right, right.
She's got a lot of money. She flies in on private jets.
Yep.
I don't know exactly where this money comes from. It's none of my business. But
It's a husband's money.
yeah, but your your money doesn't give you the
No.
right to act a fool.
Yeah. I mean, she was an asshole.
Yeah.
She was an asshole. It shouldn't have.
Dang.
It just shouldn't have been. And it's really funny. I my coach is Ron Harris, um, who's very well known in the sport, and he does a lot of podcasts. And we met the other day when we were doing my check in, my posing, and he was telling me, he goes, I played back the video over and over and over again of Natalia, and he goes, I'm telling you, there wasn't anything that was there. I tweeted that. I
Nothing.
looked
No, I
around. I
didn't
said,
see
listen, there's
anything
nothing.
unusual.
No,
Yeah.
nothing
I watched
unusual.
it over and over. I was like, I don't see anything unusual.
There was
Yeah.
no
There was
nothing.
nothing there. And I
I
think
want
that,
Sarah to circle it. Like put a picture up, Sarah, and circle what you're talking
No,
about.
no, football, they do that red challenge flag. I was doing it like that. Like
but
nothing.
There's nothing there. It just boils down to like I told George and everybody earlier, Randy, that Sarah lost to the better person,
yeah, hands
and
down,
and in my opinion, Natalia should have won last year too.
100%, 100%.
I think Natalia was robbed last year. Um, I have my thoughts on why I think she was robbed, and no, it has nothing to do with Sarah's physique, but it does have to do with her income, you know, and
But
money talks.
do you think sometimes some people feel entitled that they should win more? Being
Yes,
I'm just taking a stab at this, but being she puts up that money, she's got that huge statue that she has her show, and she's elite, and she wants to be the face of women's
but
physique. So
yes.
she's entitled, and now they took that got taken away from her.
Well, did
So
you see her new two times the life size statue that somebody just made for her?
yeah,
Oh
well,
yeah, she
yeah,
got her own
that
statue and everything.
She got her own. Yeah, she got Arnold Schwarzenegger statue.
She got her
you
own
know,
gym. She
yeah,
put
that's
in, she put
Like
in
own gem, own
but
private jet, own statue. Yeah.
but it boils
jet.
down to yes, she thinks she's entitled because
yeah,
she has money and she puts money up. So
Right.
therefore, her money gives her the entitlement to
yeah.
win,
Gives
and
Okay,
her
that's
the
not how
edge.
it goes.
this
Well,
You know,
ladies, this is what
Well, ladies, I
sorry.
have here a gentleman. He's on the other side. He's with the Banana Hams and board shorts. My big brother here. We hadn't seen him in a while. My big brother,
Keith!
223.
Keith, where have you been, man?
10 toes down, 6 feet up, dog.
Okay, man.
And you know,
I
he
would. I
is
would
an
have.
IFB Pro men's open competitor. He's also married to the lovely Miss Tina S. Williams. Is Tina with you? Can you say hello?
Tina
Yeah,
Williams.
there she
Hello,
is.
There
Tina.
she is.
Yeah, but man, we talk about this stuff. Yeah, you pointed out about
I've
the
been listening. I've been listening.
yeah. We talk about how
You need to stop getting sick, man.
I'm
Stop going to the
done.
hospital. Sick and tired of seeing you posted you in the hospital. Stop
Hey,
doing that.
it's a bodybuilding life, dog. Pushing yourself to the limits. That's part
There
of the
you go.
problem.
hmm
No, I'm sick right
yeah.
now.
But like I said, but we talk about like you remember how you talked about how about Heath and Phil Heath and Ty Green's
Kyle.
rivalry,
Yep.
guys like Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler. But or a good example is for especially look at the women's end, Bev, they were at the Olympic together, Bev Francis and Corey Everson.
Yep.
We talk about someone like Daylene Bailey, she wouldn't be able to survive with this new division.
Right.
Has evolved. It's surpassed her.
Right.
Yeah. Well, these. Here's the thing. It's like at the exact same time as everybody talking about it. It's like Angela Yo, because she's too small to compete against Ashley and Andrea, should go back to women's physique, and then she would win. Think about it. I mean, think about it. If you look at Natalia right now,
Nah, she's fine
Natalia
where
looks
she
more like a
at.
bodybuilder. Natalia looks more like a bodybuilder right now. And again, we just left a show where a girl who was a physique girl beat a lot of bodybuilding girls at the Titan, beat a lot of bodybuilding girls, and there was a lot of controversy and bullshit about that. And we still haven't heard back from the judges about what's going on with that. But it is what it is at the end of the day.
Right.
You know,
What are your thoughts on Sarah?
you
What's
know,
everything's going on there?
Sarah just don't give a fuck. And here's the thing, and Tina, who just walked out for a second, will tell you this. All these girls are talking shit on one another backstage because you know why? Because she hears it. So Sarah's just speaking her mind. All these other girls won't say it, but Sarah's just speaking her mind. She's saying things that other girls won't say. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. Because she don't give
But
a fuck. Like she said, I'm riding around with private jets. I don't give a fuck. So I'm gonna say what I want to say and do what I want to do. But she's saying things that everybody's thinking, but nobody want to say it.
So it's not like
That's just
Sarah's trying to be
facts.
Sarah's trying to be like Ric Flair.
Pipe bomb.
Limousine riding, he's stealing, son of a gun. But she got to do it a little better, and she got to put herself out there a little more if she's going to do something like that.
Yeah, but like I tell people, be better. You want to be the champion, be better. And guess what? Natalia was just better than her this year, and she's pissed
hmm
off about it. That's what it boils down to.
Yo,
I literally
But
jumped up
she's
off my
saying,
seat when.
yo,
what she's doing is saying what other people want to say, but not saying it.
But Keith, here's the problem. She put everything on block and on private. If she wants to stand on business, don't block it. That's what I'm
yeah.
Yeah,
saying. If no,
she
Yeah,
did
that's
the
I
what
say
I'm
same
no
thing
saying.
to
If,
Tina.
if you
business.
want to, look, we old school. We old school. 1980, 70, whatever. When we say stuff, we stand on business. We say, yo, I can't stand you, you piece of mother effer. Blah, 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 blah. And they come in our face and say that. Say it again. We say it. We say, I stand on business.
Right?
I
Say
feel
it again.
about you.
Say
Yeah,
it again.
That's what I say. We don't go, oh, I'm gonna block you and everything.
Yeah.
No. We're gonna say we're gonna
Oh
say this.
yeah,
yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
some
Not
Because
that's
till
some
I block
bullshit.
you
now,
and
That's some
yeah,
that's some
boom
petty
block.
yeah,
bullshit there.
that's the
That's some
difference.
petty bullshit
I
there.
can't handle the heat, so I'm gonna block you.
But but
You
but
know,
but
Then
but
don't
but
put it out there.
but Joe,
and
this is what I say.
then
This is what I say.
I got a comment. Let me give a
she
comment
put it
here. This
out
is
there and
from
then blocked it all because
here's from Brown
because
Brown.
she
He says
can't handle it.
folks need to know how to take criticism, especially if you are going to use social media. Folks are going to talk shit whether you put out good or bad. Also, this is from a man. He says the art of talking shit also means knowing how to pick and choose your battles. This is from a man, Michael. He says this. He says, "I hope Sarah doesn't make a diss track like Drake."
the
Uh, this is from my man. He says, "Yup." He says this also. He says, "Yeah, people will pay for that." Also, this is from my man Baldy. He says, "Not gonna lie, I know more female competitors than male competitors." The thing is, the guys, they're the ones I think because Keith, you've been back to stage, you've seen it. The men. I think y'all get a little more leeway compared to the women.
Well, it's not as fucking catty. The camaraderie is, different even in this era versus the '90s. I mean, you have Flex and Chris and Paul Gillette and all these guys training together. In this era, it's just different. The eras are just different. And people say that all the time, and they just are. Where women like Tina, when she first turned pro at Miss International, I remember a physique girl came up to her and go, "Why are you doing bodybuilding?" And she's like, "What?" And it was very disrespectful. She's like, "Because I can't win in fucking women's physique, so I got to move up to a different division." So and guess what? First show she went to, Wings of Strength, Rising Phoenix, she turned pro in women's bodybuilding. At Nationals and North American, she was second, third, fourth, could never win. Went to women's bodybuilding. Now she's an IFBB pro for 9 years now. So there's a difference. Sometimes you got to pick your lane and pick your poison.
That's right.
That's why I have the problem with these 212 guys and these classic physique guys just jumping into men's open fucking bodybuilding and winning shows. I'm like, how does that happen? But that's the judges. But it's the judges who are doing it.
There's no
Exactly.
criteria anymore. I go into a show, I come in and they're like, 1 minute you're too lean, you're not lean enough. I'm like, I'm the exact same as I was before.
And here's the questions. Like, I asked a question to somebody. I said, how do you compare two minions to two giants? How do you compare Andrew Jackson and Samson to Hade and Derek, who are 5 foot, or even Nick Walker, who's 5'5", 5'6", and these guys are 6'2", 6'3". You can't. It's just like
Nick Walker. Derek Winford. I met Derek Winford was it? Tampa, and I realized that I'm taller than him, maybe by an inch or so. I'm 5'7". He had to be about 5. Got to be about 5'5", maybe 5'6". And then I also met guy like Kevin DeVone, and he's kind of about 5'8", 5'9". He's a good sized man. And you look at it again, like I know ladies who told me they met Samson, and Samson, he's a unit. He's a giant.
He's a giant.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
290. Andrew's 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds, and you're going to compare him to a 5'5", 5'6" guy? How's that work?
So
how does that work?
I was coached by for a season or two. Jose Raymond was my coach. Jose on a good day is like just 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
No, he's not even 5'3". Jose is like 5. He's 5, not even. He's just a little bit over 5 feet.
Yeah.
So same height as me.
How do you compare that to like a Samson?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just. But I agree. What Lynn was saying. I know, like I did Masters National a couple of years ago, and I placed 3rd and 4th in women's physique. And I always get feedback from the judges. And I said, all right, like I know I needed to bring my legs up. I know I needed to do certain things. Like, what do I need to do? Well, you need more size. Okay, I put more size on. Now they told me at my last show, you need to come in more conditioned and more hard. Well, like, which one is it?
What is it? I can't win for losing. I'm 5'2". I'm 5'2" on a good day. On a good day, I'm 5'2". I can't get much bigger than I'm pretty big for how tall I am. My bone structure, my wrists are 2 inches big. I come in conditioned like an effer, like literally 6%, 5% body fat, Christmas tree like there's no tomorrow on my back, hamstrings popping, glutes, put size on. I go to the next show, get bigger. Go to the next show. Oh, you need to be softer. You need to be. I give up.
Oh wow!
And you're absolutely right. Tina just did the Titan show. She loses to actually the worst placing that she ever placed. She put 10 pounds. We put 10 pounds of muscle on, got her legs bigger, and the worst placing, and they couldn't give her an answer. But yet she loses to a physique girl, and it's like from the Chicago Pro, which she was 3rd or 4th. 6 weeks later, we put 10 pounds of size on her, better conditioning, and she still couldn't win. And a girl who beat her the week before, the girl who placed in front of a girl the week before who was going to Olympia, who didn't compete this year, place dead last, who is qualified from the Olympian from the Rising Phoenix. I go, how does this work? And it boils down to Steve and Tyler not being held accountable for any of their fucking actions, or Sandy for that matter, for their actions.
Like I have literally tried. I am just an amateur, but for the last 5 years, I have been second, third, and fourth place. I've never been lower than that at any national show since the day I walked. I did an Open, USA Open, my first national show ever in 2021. I was the oldest person on the stage and took third, in women's physique. You know, I've I'm
It's
just over it, like to the point that
it's
sometimes I'm
so
like,
it's
okay,
so it's so frustrating. When I went to Masters National, there was a girl. What was her name? Laurie Conley. She
yeah,
was in one of my divisions. Now Laurie came out. Now, granted, Laurie won her. She won women's bodybuilding heavyweight. She came out in women's physique and got a pro card.
I know
I don't get it. Like
she beat me. Yeah,
I
I don't
she
just
get
went
it.
from bodybuilding. She came into the women's physique, and she actually took away from me when she already had a bodybuilding program. And I don't get it. Like, how can you do bodybuilding and win there, and then come into women's physique and win there again? It should not be
Oh,
allowed.
wow.
You
right. It
know,
should.
Well,
I
well,
liken the
Well,
Lori,
whole.
they
I
say that shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
No,
Lori's
well,
but
been
I
that's
doing
a
it
that's
a
whole
couple
other,
of
and
that's
that's
a
times.
what's
whole other
so
discussion
frustrating.
about pro cards. I mean, like, how many fucking pro cards do you need? How
Yeah,
many?
Yeah.
right.
Well,
like
Because I
Well,
be-
well,
it,
Lori
it's
because
has
I
been
it's
won
doing it a
doing,
six
couple times
pro
on this
cards, does
channel.
that make me a better person? I don't
yeah.
get it. I need one. I need
I
one.
don't get it
Just
either.
one.
One. That's all you need is one. Like I go into several different category, like not categories, but classes. And my husband's like, "Well, what happens?" I said, "I would say give me one and give second place theirs. I need
Yeah.
one to have that
Yeah.
IFBB title."
I liken the
But
whole thing. It's like they've done this now. It always with the judges is it's always the women's fault. Because
Mhm.
since 1994, they've come out 5 times: 1994, 2000, 2004, 2015, 2016. IFBB has sent out a memo to everybody saying, "Oh, you need to make this change, or you need to make that change." It's nothing about them. I liken it to taking your car into an auto shop to get it fixed. And during the repair, the auto mechanic screws up your car more. They do damage to the car. But then here's what they tell you. They say, okay, we're sorry we did this. We're sorry. Here's how you can fix the problem.
Yeah.
I'm fixing your screw up. I'm
right.
fixing the damage that you did to my car. It's the same thing here. It's always to you ladies saying, oh, here's what you need to change. What about them changing their judging so that it's
Judging. Yeah.
supposed to be according to the criteria that you guys are laying down? Why
And
are you
quit
guys
letting
not doing
and
that?
quit letting people go from women's bodybuilding into women's physique and pulling pro cards in both of that. The
you're
criteria
absolutely
Well,
right.
is
Yes.
Talk to him.
I do.
Talk to
I do
him.
both classes. I do both women's physique and bodybuilding. And because I don't know which one I fit in, because I keep getting bumped down to second. And the last show I was in, the girl won 3 pro cards. So I'm with you on that. And it should have been handed down. Maybe I could have got one
let me ask you a
if they
question,
if they would have
Monica.
called me, huh?
Let me ask you a question. Say day one is women's bodybuilding and you pulled a pro card. Would you still go into that women's physique and do that the next day?
No, because I'm
No.
a bigger person.
No.
Because
Yeah.
I've had it done to me so many goddamn times.
Yeah.
I
And
need one. I
One.
don't need 5.
Yeah.
This is
That's what
just
I'm
well,
saying.
stupid.
well,
You won. So why are you going to come back and try to get another one?
I mean, it's just like where
But
I've
What the judge
sent in
told you
my
you should want.
fees for Masters USA, and I'm sticking just with women's physique. And
Yeah.
I said to my husband, I said, I know what the cost, and I know I said, but I'm telling you right now, I said, God willing, if I get a pro card, I said I will forfeit my pro card. And he looked at me and he goes, well, why would you do that? You paid the money, and I said, because that's what you do.
mhm,
That's what I do. I would give it to somebody else. I mean, how many do I
But then
need?
you know what sucks
nobody
though?
does that.
No,
Nobody
I
does
know,
that. I was told when I was at the last show, I was told someone did do that, and for a reason saying why I haven't got my pro card, but I wasn't called into one of the classes um, to get my medal. I was standing right there, and they never called us into the classes. But the gal was explaining to me, she goes, "Yeah, you can forfeit a pro card. A certain guy did that." She goes, "He's never heard of a girl doing that." She goes, "And it will go to the next person." And
So I
it,
took second last year in several different classes. The girl who beat me was in the same classes, took all four pro cards.
I don't
We
get
were
it.
in every class together, and she
that's
won
yeah,
all, and me taking second to her.
But they
well, and
shouldn't
from
even they shouldn't even be allowing that in the first place.
right.
If you, I
There,
mean, you
but
should be
they
allowed.
say,
You should be allowed to get into one division,
right.
but they say,
and
Yeah,
there
they
it's
you shouldn't
say
one.
even
that
be
you
able to.
should not get more than one pro card. So
Yeah,
that's on the judges
yeah.
because they say you won't get more than one pro card. But here they are handing two and three and four out
Right.
And
to the
girls
same
holding
person.
up.
They
Yeah.
say that. And they say, oh, come back with a bigger back. You do, then they're not there, and they pick someone worse
And what
with the small
happens
Well,
is,
back.
and
and
So
women
I'm
can't
everything
tired.
you
get
do, come back.
symmetrical.
And
Like
I'm
I
tired
said,
of
I'm
hearing too. You know, when
5'2".
you try
I'm
to like
freaking symmetrical.
you know, you
Now they come out, they want me to have these gigantic legs that aren't even going to fit my body. Yeah.
right,
So,
right.
you
You
know,
know?
they just need to fucking practice what they preach. If you
Yeah.
want this, do it. You know,
Right.
just like the catty bullshit, the sniping on people. You know, that shit comes from the top. Look at Bob Ciccarelli. He shit
Yeah.
talked me on stage. He shit talks Olympians on stage. And that stupid piece of shit is still there. Start from the
Yeah,
top.
that was my question.
Prove, make an
Why
example.
did they kept him here anyway
Make an
after what he said
example
this year?
make an example by keeping him, and now people are shit talking everybody. When he shit talked me, I called the company and I said, you know, he's unprofessional. This is bullshit. And well, I got my name blacklisted now. But you know what? I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
still here. I'm still
Right.
here. I'm competing,
Right. And I'm
and I won't
I'm so
quit.
tired
That's all that matters. You're
when
still there.
when
Yep.
you when you
You
when
know,
you get
pisses me off.
feedback from the judges too. This is my favorite when they tell you, well, you know, Randy, it's all about who shows up that day.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah,
There's criteria in every other division. I feel like, right? There's criteria in bikini, and there's criteria in like fit model, and there's criteria in this one and that one. But like for women's physique and women's bodybuilding, it's so gray. It's just
Yeah.
it's so gray. And then all this stuff just I like you know, like you were saying, like the cattiness. It's all one. It's just it's so, and masters is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
feel like
understand.
the master women get along a little bit better. And I don't
They
know if
do.
this goes back to what they were saying, the generation gap and everything like this. Um, I'm pretty quiet when I get to shows. I'm a lot more friendlier when I'm not, my anxiety takes over. I don't want to, just like, I just kind of hide, and I feel so bad because I see all these women that I follow and I'm like, oh, but once I get there, I'm like, I freak out a little bit. But I watch everybody, and I see all the older women, like gathering around and talking with each other. And then you got the younger women that are just like,
Yep. My experience at Masters USA was awesome. You know,
yeah,
people who I made connections with, who I still reach out to, and everybody was hugging everybody and supportive
mine have
of
always
everybody.
been
I mean,
great.
yeah,
there was a few.
Mine have
There
always
was
been
a few
great. Meet
there
so many people.
here. There was a few here and there that, of course, were like a little bit cocky, and you're going to get that everywhere. But Masters, but the Masters shows are different. So, like for instance, at Masters National, if I won Class C 50 plus, I win my pro card. I'm going to Masters USA. Now I got to win a friggin' overall. Like
yeah.
I don't like, but it's the same. It's a master show. It's
Well, you
master.
got to think about it. Each show is going to be different promoters because